Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Ordinary. I am Shelly. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, and for those of you who are not so unfamiliar to me, welcome back. So, this week I wanted to dive into something a little bit um, concerning, simply because it has turned up within my recent social circles, and it had to do with a friend of mine relaying that there has been some part of her life, professional and personal life, where she has felt as if she was holding back herself from, I guess, achieving as much as she could. And it led me to wonder, are there some times when we feel as if no matter what we do, something, something intrinsic is holding us back. Whether it be us missing our chances or blessings, whatever it is, and you just think maybe it's not the world, maybe it is me, maybe it is you. So today I'm sharing 5 ways that you might review, consider, as 5 things that are standing in your own way and how you can fix them, starting from now. So the question, I guess, that my friend wanted for me to address or to look at was, if it is that in your day-to-day life you feel, okay, i am I could do more to achieve greatness and to reach the stars, but for some reason I am not doing that you know so I wanted to assist her as best as I can, knowing that we are all going through some things at times that may let us not shine as bright as we want to. And these are some of the things that I recorded just to help her, myself, you, my extraordinaires that may find it of, relevance and may find it material to what you're going through. So the first point that I made note of was the fear of failure. And that was something that I identified immediately once we started to get into the conversation. So, once she and I started to distill what she was feeling. Um, and one of the things what I spoke about to her when I said fear of failure was the fact that you avoid opportunities because you're scared of failing. And one thing that I had to remind her is that failing is a part of life. You have to fail sometimes. You have to get up, dust yourself off, and try again. And just like the phoenix, sometimes you have to rise from the ashes. So, one thing that when I listened to her and I noted it resonated with me that she was afraid of failing and she avoided opportunities exactly for that reason. So, how do we fix this particular fear of failing? And sometimes it means that you just have to reframe failure as a learning experience and take small, consistent actions instead of waiting for perfect conditions to arise, because there's always room for progress and sometimes there isn't any for perfection, right? So you can start with a simple project, even if it's imperfect in any way, just learn as you go along. And that was one of the things that I wanted to impart on her, and that which I made note of to relate to you as well. Then the second thing that I wanted to share with you, and that which I also shared with her, having listened to her story, was the negative self-talk. Sometimes we do so much of this negativity and we sabotage our own selves with all this negative and pessimistic approach to things. So I had to say to her, you know, negative self talk, take it out of your everyday activity, out of your everyday life. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. What they do, they ultimately place limit on your potential to grow. How do we fix it? Replace them with positive affirmations and actionable statements. And I drilled this into her in the conversation. I said, listen, instead of telling yourself that I can't, tell yourself that I will and I must. and you will see how quickly those positive affirmations attract the right things within your life. The law of attraction, the secret. Yeah. So if you are a person that sits in this negative self talk, try as best as possible to take yourself out of it and start to speak positive things within your life. The third thing that I wanted to drop in your spirit, as I would have also discussed in our conversation, was this big thing of procrastination. Now, a lot of us, it is so much of a reality when you think about the things that we procrastinate about, things that we really shouldn't, things that we really should put as top of the mind, and yet still we put it off. So I said in my conversation, I said, stop procrastinating. And I'm going to give you a personal example for me. For years, as far back as I can recall, maybe before COVID, like 2019, I've always wanted to do content creation and I put it off. Guys, I got all the equipment, all the things that were necessary to go on this journey, and I always procrastinated. I procrastinated because I was giving myself the negative thinking, the negative talking that I can't do it. And I was finding all the negative reasons as to why I can't do it. I didn't have the time. I was caught up in court. I had all these things. I had kids. All these things happen. And of course, I procrastinated. And can I tell you something? One of the biggest content creators now out there, she and I started or had the idea of starting the very same time. So you can imagine what that felt like for me when I look now, 5 years later, 6 years later, and seeing this content creator taking storms when we actually started the very same day with our very first video. And I didn't go any further. I procrastinated. So putting things off creates stress and blocks your progress. That's all it does. So what I have done to fix it is I break tasks into small, manageable steps and I set deadlines so that I'm not procrastinating. I know something is coming up. I look at the magnitude of it and I approach with a timeline that I have designated for it. So I'll share one of the rules that I apply. You know, I always love rules. And this is my 2 minute rule. Now, if a task takes 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. It saves you from having to procrastinate those things that will require larger things as they mount and mount and mount. So if something that you need to do takes 2 minutes or less, just do it. Guys, just do it. The fourth point that I wanted to bring to your attention when it comes to us not sabotaging ourselves and standing in the way of our own greatness is stop seeking external validation. This is the killer of how great you can be. So, relying on others' opinions slows down your decisioning and weakens your confidence. And I had to tell her, I said, stop doing that. Do not look for your mother, your father, your brother, or your sister to validate you, or even your husband, or even your kids. Go ahead and step away from their opinions slowly and make the decision and sit into your own silence and your own confidence that you are great enough to do what you need to do. So set aside all of the things that people can tell you or what you would need to do to seek their approval. Stay focused without the noise, right? And the fifth one is staying in your comfort zone. Now, this is definitely something that has prevented a lot of us from reaching our heights of greatness. We like to be comfortable. We like to feel okay. We don't like to be disheveled or shifted. And sometimes it's coming out of your comfort zone that is going to build you. It is coming out of your comfort zone that is going to make you into that great, great person that you want and you envisage for yourself. Here I am. I've always said it from the very first moment I came on here on these episodes. I'm an attorney at law, but I dabble. And it's not about just being a jack of all trades and master of none. But I always try to push myself beyond a limit, beyond what I'm comfortable in doing. I'm comfortable being an attorney. I'm comfortable doing sales and marketing. I'm comfortable with doing everyday things that don't stretch me and make me question myself. But this journey that I'm on as a content creator, it is taking me outside of my comfort zone because I can talk all day, but ask me to talk to nobody or ask me to talk to some persons that are not physically in my space was taking me outside of what I was comfortable in doing. Because as an attorney, we talk for a living, we advocate for a living, but we're advocating for persons who are in front of us, the judge, or our clients, or the jury. But to ask me, who has developed and honed the skill of talking to people, to talk to a camera, guys, that was stretching me beyond my limit. And I'm very happy that I jumped on this journey of content creation. And thank you for joining me and giving me the confidence as well that I can do it. Even though, rest assured, the validation that I needed to do it did not reside externally. I appreciate you for being here, but it did not reside externally. So, fix, challenge yourself with micro goals that push your limits, micro goals that take you outside of what you're okay in doing. So, you may want to, at the very least, say start some small public speaking, as in the case that I have. If that's one of the things that you want to relieve yourself of in terms of your comfort, try something new. Try something outside of what makes you okay. Network outside of your circle. Find something that is going to take you outside of what your boundary is that you have set for yourself that is now sabotaging your heights of greatness. So now that I've dropped these on you, quickly, I have dropped these on you. I can't imagine how you see how fast I'm talking because I know I wanted to keep this very short and spicy. So, my conclusion, my summary to you is that holding yourself back is normal. It's just a part of who we are as human beings. But now that you know how to break these patterns from these quick little 5 tips that I've given you, start identifying with them as best as possible and find the strongest ones that you are able to do and change immediately. So, my extraordinaires, if my little 15 minutes chat with you helps you in any way, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. Please, guys, I appreciate the comments. They really do help me to mold and shape this new journey that I am on. And feel free to share, right? I'm always willing to entertain the conversations. And until I see you next time, thank you. Thank you for being a part of my journey, for pushing myself beyond my limits. Take care, guys. Until I see you next.